everyone, and welcome to episode 60 of the Best Day Ever Crafting podcast. This is a podcast about my making journey, but also celebrating with you all the reasons why crafting every day makes for the best day ever. My name is Trish, and I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Tie-Dye Diva. Show notes can be found in the Ravelry group. And you can also find my sticker and stationery shop on the internet at fibertree.com, thefibertree.com. And I will link to all of those places in the description box below. So hello everyone, and if this is your very first time viewing the podcast, an extra special welcome to you. So I have not a lot of things to share with you today. I do have some WIPs, some works in progress in knitting. I have some sewing I'd like to share with you today. I actually finished a garment in sewing. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably have already seen it. Let's see what else. I, of course, have some acquisitions that I have acquired since the last time we chatted. And if I have time, I am going to share with you a new WIP that, well, what I hope to be a new work in progress very soon. So it's kind of like falling between a work in progress and dream making, but I think it's gonna happen really, really soon. I'm really, really excited about it. So without further delay, let's get into it. So as far as knitting is concerned, I have not finished anything. I'm very close to finishing a couple of things actually, but just couldn't quite get there before recording today. So the first thing I'm going to share with you, I don't know if I showed these to you when I first started them or not, but I had cast on for a pair of beach party socks. Beach party socks, they're a pattern by Jody Brown. She is one half of the Grocery Girls, as you well know. This is a black and white photo, but basically beach party socks are a textured shorty sock and with contrasting colors. So I'm almost done with one of my beach party socks. Because this is in black and white, I do believe that in the original pattern it's just two colors, but you guys know how much I love color. So I decided to use some scraps and make mine a scrappy pair. So these are started from the cuff down, and it is a very simple, I think it's a 4-row repeat to get this texture here. And then you just stripe that with your main color, and you finish it off at the toe. And the back are just striped, so no texture on the back to make it easier to walk on. That probably would not be very comfortable, especially if you're going to wear these with shoes, to have that texture on the back of the sock. What I love about this, so many things I love about it besides the fact that it's just a really simple, fun pattern. They're also knit out of a DK weight yarn, so that means that they go really, really quickly. These knit up super quick. I think I did these in a couple of days, or at least just one sock in a couple of days. So let me show you what colors I'm using. This is a hit from the B-side from Dapper Dye Works in his Claire base, which is a merino cashmere nylon base. And I've got yarn tangled in this bag. I never know how that happens. You put your yarn in nice and neatly, and when you go back to grab it, it's just a mess. And so anyway, this is a one-hit wonder color. It doesn't have a name. But it's like this pinky peach. So again, that is the main color of the sock. And this light blue here, this is Plucky Knitter, and this is their hazel base. And I cannot remember the color, but I will have it all linked on my project page. This here I believe this is also Plucky Knitter Primo Worsted. I'm sorry, Primo DK. Primo DK, and again, I do not know the number, but it's this the color, but it's this really pretty, like straw-like color. So that's one thing. Hey, Cashmere. Cashmere just came in. If this is your first time watching, Cashmere is my fur baby. We were just arguing a second ago because she jumped on top of something she wasn't supposed to and made a huge mess that I have to clean up after the podcast. And then the final color is this really pretty, almost like a neon or a lime green, and this is Woolmize DK. All of these, with the exception of the main color, the Dapper Dye Works, came from previous projects, so it's really good to be able to use up your scraps from previous projects, and that's how they all look together. So super fun pattern. It's going to be finished with an afterthought heel, and you can see where I put in my marker where my afterthought heel is going to go. I usually do 6.5 inches from the toe is where I start my afterthought heel, so that's exactly 6.5 inches, but I might rethink it a little bit because this is a DK weight yarn, and I know when I block this it's going to stretch, so I might move this marker down just a little bit to 6 inches, just to make sure they're not too big. I'm not going to wear these with socks. These are going to be like bed socks or just house slippers, but I still want them to fit pretty good. And the heel, if you're wondering, I think I'm going to do it in the main color. I thought about doing the heel in one of the contrast colors, but I think I'm going to just do the heel in the main color. I think that makes the most sense. So yes, again, these are the Beach Party Socks by Jody Brown. And it's hanging out in one of my favorite project bags that I have shared before from my good friend Sharon. Her brand is the Creatrix, and I wish I could remember the name. This might be the Janice bag, but again, I would definitely link to her shop on Etsy. It's just a beautiful project bag. It can hang on the arm. It's pretty enough to sit in the living room, which is pretty much where it sits. I usually don't take this out with me. It's got pretty good size too. So it's really too big for socks, but because I have so much yarn in here, I decided to use it for this project. So again, this is from the Creatrix. All right. Next up, I'm just going to show you really quickly the progress on my rocket tee. I showed that to you last time I recorded, and I wanted to show it to you again because I was able to finish the body. So I want to back up and make sure Cashmere is not under my leg, which she is under my leg. I don't want to roll over you, baby. So here's my rocket tee. I've tried it on and it fits so good. If I remember, I'm going to insert a picture of me with the sweater on right here. So again, I'll just share with you the yarn that I used from Legacy Fiber Arts. This is their mohair silk lace. This lighter color, the darker color, and the lighter color is their fingering base. I will, when I link to my project on my Ravelry page, you'll be able to see the colors. But just an absolutely enjoyable knit. I think I talked a lot about this on the last episode. Even though I'm a larger person, so it takes a lot more yarn, a lot more time, I felt like this moved really quickly. I've been working on it for several weeks, but I haven't been working on it nonstop or constantly. I've been like switching it up with other projects, and I still feel like it just flew off of the needles. And you can also tell if you look closely, this stripe right here is much longer than it was supposed to be. That tells you how enjoyable this project is, because I was just knitting and knitting and knitting away, and I was like, oh, I think I went like at least three more rows longer than it should be, and I didn't realize it until I got probably like down to here, and I was not going to rip back. So it's going to be a design element, and I think it's going to be just fine. So the only other thing I have to do is pick up for the neckline and finish the I-cord bind off for the neck and the sleeves. It is a short sleeve sweater. And it's got this really beautiful lace detail on the sides. I'm definitely going to wet block this to bring out the lace pattern, and you also do an I-cord bind off on the bottom hem, which you can see here. And I decided to do mine holding 2 strands of the mohair lace together, and it takes a minute. It's not a quick process to do an I-cord bind off, but look how beautiful that is. Once this blocks, I think that's going to just be absolutely beautiful. So yeah, hopefully by the end of the week, today is July the 28th. Hopefully I've got 3 days if I want to finish this by the end of the week. That's my goal. My goal is to finish this by the end of the week, and also to cast on for my July hat. I'll probably do that tonight so that I can at least say that I started. Speaking of the July hat, if this is your first time watching, we're hosting a couple of make-alongs this year. One being the Kelborn Woolens Year of the Hat. And we've just been going and making those hats. I've only made 1 or 2, which is fine. You can join in on the hats you really, really love. Some, I believe, have made all of the hats up until this time. And this is the yarn that I have wound up for the July hat. This is a base by the Plucky Knitter, and the color is Roasted Pumpkin, and this is their Cormo base. It's just so beautiful and squishy and full and plump. So I think this is going to be perfect for the July hat. So it's not quite a whip because I don't have it on the needles yet, but that is a goal for this week, to get my July hat on the needles, because once it's on the needles, I can pretty much get a hat done in about 3 or 4 days. And then I can cast on for the August hat, which is really pretty. I took a peek at it before I started to podcast. I'm going to insert a picture of it here. So as you can see, it's a beautiful hat. It's worsted weight. All of the hats are worsted weights for the Kelborn Woolens Year of the Hat. But it also features a technique I haven't done before, which is that I think it's a Latvian braid in 2 sections of the hat. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I have to find some yarn for that hat, for the August hat. Okay, so that's all I have to share with you in knitting. Now let's get to sewing. I just have one thing to share with you in sewing. I had the privilege of doing a test sew for a brand new pattern that's going to be released this Friday. The pattern is by Alexis, and the name of her company is Fiber and Cloth. And this is the top. It's called the Fotinia top. let me just, it's hard to get the whole blouse in frame, but basically it is a gathered, the entire neckline is gathered front and back. Lots and lots and lots of gathers. And it's a drop sleeve that has a cuff, or you can omit the cuff. You can just have the sleeves drop. There's also an option for a 3/4 length sleeve if you would prefer that option. And it also features a high-low hem. So it's a little higher in the front, a little and lower in the back. It is quite oversized. As a matter of fact, when I cut out the pattern specified for my size, I was a bit concerned it was going to be too large, and it is very oversized, but it's just so perfect. It's just so flowy and cool and comfy. Alexis did an amazing job with this, being that this is her very first garment pattern. What else can I say about this? I used a cotton gauze to make mine. It's a very lightweight, and if you look really close you can almost see through it, but not, it's not super sheer. It's just the perfect summer fabric, and I believe I got this from Joann's. Yeah, so very easy pattern, beginner friendly. Yes, I think a beginner sewist could easily make this pattern. So again, this is the fotinia top by Fiber and Cloth, and it will be released this coming Friday. I think I want to make another one, so you'll probably hear more about this pattern. But yes, just a wonderful experience being able to test sew that. And also, if you're interested in hand sewing, check out Alexis' shop, Fiber and Cloth, because she has hand sewing kits. And I've got my eye on one of them, which is a top. I have never hand sewn a garment. I've done a lot of finishing with hand sewing, but never an entire garment. So I would definitely link to her shop so that you can see all the goodies that she has. So before we get into stash acquisitions, I will share with you my dream making / whip. I next will be casting on the half and half triangle wrap, which is a pearl Soho pattern. So this isn't a great picture, number one, because it's black and white, but as you can see, it's two separate triangles that are joined together, and with contrasting color. It's a lot of garter stitch, as you can see, and a lot of short rows, which is how you get the triangle shape. But everybody has been talking about this pattern, and I definitely drank the Kool-Aid. So I've already wound up my yarn, and I will show you what my colors are going to be. So this is, both of these are Plucky Knitter. One is Plucky Feet. This one here, however, is the Plucky Primo Fingering. Look at all those pretty blues, just every color blue you can think of. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this color is Blue Blazes. This was a 2019 Knitting the Blues club color. So this is pretty deep stash. And this is two skeins wound together. So sometimes I like to do that when I know I need both skeins. I just wind them together into a bigger skein, and I'm going to contrast it. So one triangle is going to be the blues, and the other is going to be just this solid, which is probably, it's definitely one of my favorite Plucky colors, and I hope that they're still dyeing this color. This is Bohemian Blue. Yeah, this camera's doing a really great job picking up those colors. It's deep, it's moody, it's just so beautiful. It almost looks black in some places, but it's definitely all blues. And it's just so, so pretty. So, again, one triangle is going to be the dark bohemian blue, and the other is going to be the semi-solid / variegated blue blazes. And I think that's going to be so beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to getting that cast on, and I hope that the pattern is such that I can memorize it so that I can have some mindless knitting to do. And the project bag I chose to put this in is my Rosy Posy Designs tote. Love, love, love this bag. And yes, I do try to coordinate my projects with the colors of my project bags. Okay, so let me share with you a couple of things that have come in the mail since we last chatted. I did receive my Farmer's Daughter Sock Squad July color, which is here. One thing I can say about the Sock Squad, she always has combinations that I would not think of myself. Although if you look closely, there is like a speckle of like a reddish pink, very, very faint. Really, really pretty. I gotta get some of this knit up because I haven't knit a pair of socks out of one of these that I've received this year, but it sure has been fun getting them in the mail. So that's one thing that has come in. Also, I picked up a piece of fabric from a new to me fabric store, which is about an hour from where I live in Southern Maryland. It's actually in La Plata. It's called Material Girl, and I've been wanting to get there for the longest, but like I said, it is an hour away. So we just happened to be in the area because there's a restaurant not far from there we wanted to go to. And so I said, well, I definitely should try to check out the fabric store while I'm there. And this is one of the things I picked up. So look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I believe this is from Wyndham, and the collection, I believe, is called Uncorked. When I got this home, I immediately folded it onto my paper board. So that's why I don't want to unfold it. But I'm almost certain that it is from Wyndham Fabrics, and it just looks like cork. And this comes in a variety of colors, but I could not resist this orangey, pinky peach. And the metallic gold just gives it almost like a rose gold feel. It's really, really pretty. So I will probably be making one of my favorite patterns, as you know, which is the dress number 1 from 100 Acts of Sewing. So, and I was really, really proud of myself because I even picked up the matching thread. Sometimes I have a bad habit of picking up fabric and not getting the thread to match, but look at that. It's perfect. And I got 2 of these just to make sure I have enough. So really, really, really loving this. I also have acquired a couple of new patterns, sewing patterns, since we last talked. And I'll just quickly share those with you. McCall's had a pattern, a $1.99 pattern. I only buy patterns when they're on sale. At least the big box store pattern. So this little number here is M8158. Reminds me a lot of the shirt I just sewed, except for this one has a much wider band. So really, really cute. You can do all 3 pieces. And the top, the dress can even be converted into a tank top. Very nice. And this is to be used with a woven cotton or linen, crepe de chine, silk rayon, but not a stretch. So again, M8158 by McCall's. This is M8251 by McCall's. So pretty, so feminine. Look at that. I am not, I would probably make this and wear it with a sweater or a jacket, because I don't usually have this much of me hanging out, but I just thought that the dress itself was just so pretty. And this calls for a knit fabric. So again, that's McCall's 8215. This is McCall's 8159. Very, very nice. As you can see, this is a super beginner friendly pattern. Again, McCall's 8159. You can do the button down top, the tank top, this really basic skirt, or the pants. And I think the reason I got this is because out of all the patterns I have, and I do have a lot of patterns, I don't have anything like this that's a wide flowy skirt with an elastic band. I love an elastic waist skirt, so comfy, and this is going to be so beautiful in one of my African prints. So I'm going to get this cut out very soon, sooner than later. Finally, from McCall's, this is Aura 11046, and look at this. This is a jumpsuit. How adorable is that? It can be cropped, long, or shorts. Again, McCall's R11046. All of these came from Joann's. And that sale happens quite often. So just either sign up for their emails or download the app, and that way you'll know when the sales come. I believe the sales start on Sunday and run throughout the week. When I was at Material Girl, I also picked up this pattern, this quilt pattern, because I thought it was so pretty. This is called the Spellbound Quilt. And it just features half square triangles against this solid top, which is really, really pretty. So yes, it says a beginner pieced pattern. So I'm gonna get this opened up and read it and try to wrap my brain around it, even though it says a beginner. It's been a while since I have done any quilting, so I kind of feel like I'm starting from scratch again, which is fine. But I thought this was so beautiful. And you can see even closer the schematic on the back. Finally, I picked up this pattern from Noodlehead, which is the poolside tote. I got this from Stitch Sew Shop in Alexandria, Virginia, another one of my local sewing stores. I've been wanting to do a Noodlehead bag pattern for quite some time, so I will be stash diving soon to figure out what fabric I want to use. It calls for a canvas exterior. No, well, it says it recommends heavy home decor, heavy linen, denim, canvas, twill, duck cloth. You know, just a heavier fabric. But I do believe it will also work well with quilting cotton. But I will definitely be using a heavier fabric, maybe even one of my African wax prints. I'm looking over there because that's where some of my fabric is stored. Okay, yeah, so that's it. That is it for the acquisitions for this week. I'm going to take a quick peek at my notes. I think I have covered everything. The final thing I want to share with you before I close is something completely new in crafting I have never done before, and that is painting. I went to a sip and paint this past Sunday at a dear friend's house, and this is what I painted. There were only 4 of us there taking the class. It was really nice. Of course, we were sipping while we were painting. So that just helps relax you. You know, when you're doing something new and you're feeling a bit apprehensive. So we had some wine and pizza and and we just had a really, really good time. So I would definitely like to. I can see hosting a sip and paint myself in person when things become a lot safer, and possibly even a Zoom sip and paint. I think would be really, really fun. So I'll be thinking about that in the future. So again, I think that's all I have to share with you. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember, if you haven't already, to hit your subscribe buttons. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the podcast. If you have any questions, you can leave those in the Ravelry group. I do try to check that at least twice a week to see what's going on in there. So please continue to keep making. Share with us what you're making in the Ravelry group, and stay safe and well, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye.